Hey y'all, welcome to Geek Freaks. I am Frank and I'm here with Jonathan.
Hey yo.
And we have Squeaks.
Squeaks. I'm a little ill right now, so I had to compensate.
So what we've learned is I'm going to go to like Squeaks' house and cough on all his dishes right before we're recording, just to make sure we get that every time. We've got a lot going on this week. Mostly Star Wars Celebration because we took last week off for spring break, but we also have a ton of reviews and we're going to be doing the review pool for that. What we're going to be doing instead of our question of the week, we're going to be doing one of our quizzes. The more Squeaks gets right.
Why is it always? Damn, I suck at this. Okay.
The more Squeaks gets right, the more stuff we give away. So
that's why I think you picked me, because you don't give away much.
Well, I could give it to Jonathan, but let's be honest, we wouldn't give away shit.
Okay.
Let's let the fan rage go towards Squeaks.
So what I'll do is I'll ask Squeaks, but Jonathan, you are a phone a friend all day, so he can ask you all he wants. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
Nice.
I'm gonna ask you 5 questions, and for everyone you get right, we're gonna give away some merch, and we'll explain what that merch will be later on. But let's begin. We're gonna start off with what species is Loki's biological father?
Frost giants.
There we go. We got one so far.
Oh, why
Oh man. All right, your next question. Which Infinity Stone was hidden inside the Tesseract?
Let's go with, it's a guess because there's so many stones and I can't remember. Soul Stone.
Nope, it was the Space Stone. What is the name of the prison where the Guardians of the Galaxies first met?
Oh, dude, come on. I barely remember character names.
The next 2 will be easier because I do want to give away some stuff.
I want to look at John's face, but should I phone a friend?
No,
Okay.
No, don't phone a friend.
Garsic.
The name of the prison.
The Kiln.
Man, I can't remember.
All right, here's an easy one. Who killed Hela in Thor Ragnarok?
That's one of the worst movies ever.
That's absurd. To say that is absurd.
Not at all. It was okay. What's the name? It was Ragnarok, right? The monster.
You are right, but you don't have his name. I'll give it to you, but do you have the name by chance? And Jonathan's shaking his head so that he does it.
Hellfire. I don't know.
It's Surtur. He was Surtur.
Gosh. But I get it though, right? I get the credit?
Yeah, you'll get it.
Maybe it's
And
one of the
here's one
smaller,
too. Here's another
prizes
freebie, and if you don't get this right, then we literally need to recast you. In Black Panther, what is the name of the metal that powers Wakanda's technology?
Vibranium.
Oh wow, he should be so proud of himself, guys.
Wouldn't have been hilarious if he says adamantium.
All right, so we're gonna give away 3 T-shirts, everybody. It would have been 5, but somebody doesn't know.
Someone picks me on purpose, so I'm just throwing it out there for the listeners.
Jonathan, did you have any of those? Maybe
No. Yeah. I think next time me and Squeak should come up with the questions and quiz Frank, because that would be the real test.
Oh,
there you go.
Hell yeah. I like that idea.
I like that.
And he's the one offering up the prizes, so it comes out of his pocket if he gets them wrong.
I think I would have gotten it, honestly. All right.
Yeah, we'll make them hard, though.
Yeah, I'll make it hard.
All right, so that's 3 T-shirts. What you guys are going to do is, actually, we're going to give them away on the social medias. So make sure you guys follow us on Threads, Instagram, where else are we on? X, I'll make sure to post it over on X, or Twitter if you're cool, and Blue Sky. So come hang out with us, guys. We're going to give away 3 T-shirts, and description will be there. We're going to be doing a lot of reviews today. All right, so we got a lot of reviews to go over. I'm going to be pulling random questions for this, and we're going to be starting with Jonathan. Jonathan, are you ready to talk about Andor?
Heck yes.
Okay, so we're going to start off with you giving your immediate reaction for Andor. Keep it under 2 minutes, and then we're going to ask you random questions off of a list of questions, and then we'll go from there. Sound good to you?
Yeah.
All right, go for it. Give us your 2-minute rundown.
So obviously I loved Andor. Episode 2 is a little bit slow, but I'm gonna kind of go over a broad spectrum of what happened in the last 3 episodes. So they started with Cassian stealing an experimental ship from the Empire, right? It's a experimental TIE fighter, and he doesn't know how to control it, which is kind of awesome because we see him like fumbling around. He's like the best, pilot in the Rebel Alliance, at least. But then we see that he's has no idea what he's doing. So that was kind of fun. He plans to meet up with some allies on a planet to hand off the ship, but he gets ransacked by these small ragtag group of rebels that are fighting amongst themselves. So that was where it was kind of slow, was that whole process of him being stuck on his planet, but it's still
yeah
it was just longer than it needed to be, I think. But there was a lot of other stuff being built in the background of that episode in comparison that I think was well done. But then we see Mon Mothma's playing politics. She's, you know, in the big and heavy swings of politics, which is, you know, her having to make this deal for her daughter, pretty much selling off her daughter to be able to fund the Rebel Alliance, and not even doing it with control in the situation, but kind of being extorted or blackmailed in the situation, so she doesn't have a grasp or firm grip on what she's doing, which is scary in her situation.
Yeah.
But the wedding looks really cool and it's done well in the Star Wars universe and everything.
So you have about 30 seconds left.
Oh crap. Okay. And then one of the best situations, it was it sad how much it compares to reality right now, but this immigration group pretty much from the Empire is going around hunting rebels, essentially. And so they're trying to find Bix and the rest of the group that's, you know, hiding out on this planet, and they're just being, you know, mechanics and trying to secretly kind of get the Rebel Alliance going, and, you know, working. But
you're over your 2 minutes, by the way, but go ahead.
Okay, yeah. I don't know how to put these words together. Terrible at doing things fast, or at all. But so yeah, they're trying to hide out, and they know that these guys are going to come through, and they need to, you know, not get caught and everything.
People around.
And these guys are trying to. The one guy that keeps coming around talking to Bix is eventually tries to rape her. Luckily, she's able to fight him off, and then the rest of the soldiers come to help him, support him, whatever. And perfect timing that Cassian rolls in with his new ship that with this time finally he's been able to figure out how to control it for the most part. So
that's a good job with it.
He comes in guns a-blazing and kicks ass.
Hell yeah, he does. I loved it as well. It's good stuff. Let's get a grade on those first 3 episodes out of you, Jonathan.
Maybe A-. The second episode was a little slow, but when you look back at it, at the story and the plot building and stuff like that, it's like it was a little slow from Cassian's story, right? Because it needed to be. But you see the comparison it's drawing. It's the higher ups and the rich, the Empire versus the Rebel Alliance and where they're at. And it's like these people are literally killing each other because they're starving, right? And they have nothing. And yet these rich people are, you know, sipping their tea and eating their snacks or whatever, and talking about how are we going to, you know, what kind of propaganda are we going to use to be able to enslave this planet and take their resources. And it's like, damn, that's so corrupt and so messed up. And it's, you know, from such a opposite ends of the spectrum. So that episode seemed kind of slow.
Yeah, it was really a bridge episode because they release them in 3s. They're meant to be consumed in 3s. There's a time jump in between each 3 episodes. So by itself, it doesn't hold much water, but it is needed for the first and the last episode of the 3. So I think that's a big part of it. By the way, guys, we do full breakdowns every week for this over on Challenge Accepted. If you guys want to, I'm wearing the shirt, I'm wearing the hat. I mean, so if you guys want to hear like a full discussion on each of these, go for it. Yeah. What I'm going to do is I got the random number generator and random questions. I'm going to pop 5 of them for you, Jonathan, to help you with this review. Okay. So here we go. We're generating a random number 11, which performance felt the most authentic or believable to you?
Probably Mon Mothma. You see a lot of her. Yeah, you see a lot of her just kind of like struggling to keep it together. Behind her face, you could tell that she's like overwhelmed with stress and anxiety. And eventually in the party, she's realized like, wait, I need to be one of these people right now. I need to blend in with this crowd because otherwise it's obvious that I have some ulterior motives. So she starts to dance and try to be a part of the party. But yeah, obviously she has a lot of weight on her shoulders that this whole Rebel Alliance she's trying to fund in the background, and like her sister is on the front lines a lot of times. Mm-hmm. And so it's just a small conversation between her and an investor can make or break hundreds or thousands of people's lives and the survival of the galaxy. So
her and Luthen, crazy. Every time those two talk, it's just the dialogue in the show is bar none in Star Wars, in my opinion. About her and Luthen talking, like just 2 different ways of approaching the Rebel Alliance, I think is very interesting. Squeaks, I got a question for you. Who is your favorite character? Because to me, my favorite character is Mon Mothma, and I didn't think it would happen that way. Who's your favorite character of the Cassian show, or the Andor?
Deborah Mirror. I'm saying it right.
She's basically
She's the female that's in that Empire.
For
The blonde
real.
hair. The blonde
I
hair
can't
female.
stand.
Yeah.
Not that I can't stand watching her. She makes me so uncomfortable.
So that's what. So I think what really got me was the first episode of when she's in that. They're all like talk about taking the resources and stuff like that. And the what's his name? The head guy in charge goes up to her and be like, "Hey, stop fucking around with me. I picked you for a reason. Like I know you have another idea to take over these resources in this planet." And then she just says it straight up and walks away. And I'm like, "Damn, that's cool. I'm an Empire fan." So I always will stand by them. So, but on top of that is, it was kind of like just like boss like yes, you're right. I do have the answer, and here it is. And then she walks away.
And the way that, like that, her name's DJ, by the way, and the way that she shuts down Cyril's mom too in this 3 episodes is kind of cool. That was pretty cool.
And then you start seeing like her and Cyril are so much alike, except for the issues that he has with his mom. But outside of that, their work and even personalities are so similar.
It dawned on me, it's Dwight Schrute and Angela from The Office.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
All right, next for you, Jonathan. Did the visuals and cinematography add anything special that you think was like, ooh, fine choice?
I think they did a good job at making that new experimental ship like a level above, even though we know it's
TIE fighter.
It's generations before the technology we see in the I guess older movies, but it's in the timeline. But yeah, it looks really crisp and clean, and then just the polish of how they designed it for the show looks good.
Yeah, I really like that scene where he's going to come up on the guys that are traveling, and he like kind of hides the ship or behind the towers, and then just like slides it across, and then starts shooting at him. Just like the juxtaposition of the futuristic ship and the wheat fields, the way they bounce off each other was really cool cinematography. I think that was kind of showing like the oppressive empire and just like good old farm life and how the two are bouncing off each other.
Yeah, just having them working in wheat fields in general as like a mechanism and how they made the show.
Yeah,
made it look really cool, and how like you're saying they're comparing this even in the situation where they're showing the people in charge or whatever negotiating how they're going to take over this planet, and comparing it to people just trying to survive day to day on this planet.
Yeah.
And that's very like, down to earth to the ground level.
Number 17, how would you rate the villains of this series?
Villains. Well, like you see with the two that we were just talking about, the young couple, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're obviously villains, but there's a 10% you kind of are rooting for them because they're underdogs of the villains.
Yeah.
They're
I think they kind of live their lives, right? Like when you get stuck in corporate culture and you're just trying to climb the ladder at work, you're just doing your job. And so you kind of see like, son of a bitch, would I be in the Empire? I know Squeaks would be. Yeah, he would be. Emperor, here's my tattoo. Get me in.
Yeah. And to some degree, I think we want to see a Darth Vader built up and then taken back down.
Yeah.
Like we want to see somebody grow through the ranks and earn, because, Cyril's been dismissed recently.
Yeah.
And, so his interest in what's better for the Empire and the Empire's interests, is not getting recognized. And so, we want to see him grow and, both of them to a seat of power. And then it's like, okay, now the rebels got to knock down this evil that has gotten strong enough. But also the head guy that's running that meeting, I can't remember his name. I remember he's the bad guy in Ready Player One too.
Yeah.
But they do a good job with him where I don't know in their political world how their uniforms work, but him wearing that little cape and everything is so
I think he's a
sinister
governor.
and evil.
Yeah, I think it's
Is that it?
Yeah. God, I can't remember his name, but yeah, he's on Rogue One. He's the bad guy in Rogue One as well.
That's right.
Which was what we're leading to.
But he's just a dominating enough to be like he's no Darth Vader. Like he's not. He doesn't really control the room like a bigger villain does. He has a little bit of that annoying kind of arrogance, jerk kind of quality to him.
Yeah.
So I think they could do a good job of he's like upper middle management, but he's still not the head honcho.
Is Squeaks find the name? I know he's Googling something right now.
Yeah, but it's just...
And he's muted, so he's not even talking to us.
Yeah, it's coming up with a bunch of names. It's so weird that I can't just like hit IMDb and it's just not populating. Yeah.
White cape dude. All right, let's just do 4 questions. And then so you got number 19, which is a really good one for this. Would you recommend this show to anybody else?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course.
I'd say watch season 1. I don't think you need to watch Rogue One or anything else Star Wars really to like this show.
That's fair.
But it doesn't hurt to, have an understanding of what the rebels are that you're building towards and stuff.
Yeah, I gave it a 9 out of 10 myself, the first 3 episodes, and I think if they continue to have them batched, like they're going to be releasing them in batches of 3 every time, which is 3 hours every Tuesday night. That's so much to watch.
Yeah,
I love it.
Good. All right, our next review is going to be for Oblivion Remastered, which shadow dropped and made my freaking day.
Orson. It took forever to find that. I'm like, he's in the first episode, guys.
Yeah, pretty popular guy too. All right, so Oblivion Remaster. Here's my 2-minute rundown. We'll start my timer. All right, here we go. It's Oblivion. It's exactly the game that we all loved that launched the Xbox 360. That Elder Scrolls came out with, and it to me changed a lot of my gaming life. It was my first big fat RPG to get into. Skyrim came out, and they're like, Skyrim is fantastic, and they re-released it many a times. But then like Oblivion got forgotten, and now it has not. This being a remaster is nearly a joke. It should be considered a remake. The amount of times that I've done the Elder Scrolls thing where I stop and just be like, man, this grass is badass. Or like, holy cow, did you see them rocks? Holy cow. Combat and everything like that still feels like Oblivion. They even changed to Unreal Engine 5. It's a new engine for them to be using. I don't see the difference. It feels very much like the regular game. I would say for people who are maybe new to Oblivion as whole cloth or Elder Scrolls in general, the combat will feel slow to you, but it makes sense for what you're playing. And of course, I'm going Sneaky Archer. Don't come at me, because that's exactly what I always play, Sneaky Archer. It's the cheesiest one, the easiest win. And just exploring this world, this gorgeous world over again, standing on top of a mountain and looking over the snowy sides and exploring every little corner, coming across a random cave and be like, well, I gotta see what's inside there. Vampires, fake out, I'm out. That is wonderful. And hearing the classic voice acting of Sean Bean and Patrick Stewart again, and it's like, man, Oblivion, the music. Poor Scott had to go to basically a funeral, and I'm like messaging him like, dude, I'm like literally recording my own speakers, like, dude, this music's back in. And he's like, I'm a little busy right now. I'm like, oh, okay. So yes, Oblivion Remastered somehow has brought back a game that it felt like it was forgotten and it should have been, and I am having a blast with it. Now there is some stability issues. It's a Bethesda game, no surprise. And so I will have to ding it for that, but I'm like at a solid 8 out of 10 and having a blast, and that's my 2 minutes. Yeah. So let's run. Do you guys have any random questions before I start generating them?
Yeah, I have a question for you. So I'm playing a little bit of Oblivion as well, and it's a Bethesda thing, but it works at the same time. So Bethesda was one of the companies that forced me to buy the new Xbox because I wanted to play Starfield. I love the games, love the whole Fallouts and all that. But at a certain point, do you feel like, oh, when I was playing Oblivion, I felt this way, but for you now, like, oh, this is great, it looks great, whatever, but it still feels old. And that's kind of like my playing with Starfield. Like, the game still feels like I'm playing a super old game here. Did you get that Oblivion, and what's kind of like the feels of you think this is just something that works for Bethesda? Or
well, that was my thing when I was saying, like, if you're new to Oblivion or new to Skyrim as a whole or Elder Scrolls as a whole, it'll feel old to you. But I think this feels very much like in line with their games. I think it's just how they play. And, you know, like, things are slow, but then you're like fine tuning how your character plays. And over time, you end up developing a character that is a specialist in one specific thing, kind of like a Fallout's really this way too. Yeah. And suddenly, like, you're amazing. Like, I'm already at the point now where I'm sneaking around, arching people, or, you know, shooting people with arrows from far away and getting 3 times bonuses and stuff like that, like crazy. And I still remember a lot of the old hacks to where, like, as soon as you leave the prison, you go back to the prison and you pickpocket the guy that was in the other cell to where you get your sneak up a lot, stuff like that. So I'm doing those as well. Yeah. But yeah. Okay. And by the way, I moved over to Xbox as well because it was crashing too often on the PC. So it's a fair ding on their performance problems. So I'm playing it on Xbox now as well.
Yeah. Do you think Bethesda should try to move on to like enhancing this experience that seems to be just too familiar with every single game that they release?
Before the Microsoft acquisition, yes. But now I feel like, no, Bethesda, you do your thing. You keep telling really good stories with the way you like to tell them. Yeah. And then have the other companies make the stuff that, like Expedition 33 we're going to get into later on, where it's a very different feel. And just like let Microsoft have this big umbrella of different kinds of games to where, you know, I think that works well now. Before, I would say so. I think if as a whole they needed to change it up a little bit.
Yeah.
All right.
Did you notice anything in... anything in Oblivion that's been changed? Like, is any of the story expanded on or anything like that? Or is
The
it literally
joke
just a
that's
reskin?
going around online is like they kept the script and threw everything else away. Yeah. Yeah, it feels brand new. They had changed some of the voice actors to be more in line with the characters because it was like 3 voices for the whole game. So they added a lot more voices, but they say the same lines. And some of the lines, they even kept in the stuff that's like buggy or creepy on accident. Like they have become favorites where like that one kid keeps bugging you, like, I'm your biggest fan. And he keeps bugging you about that. Like they kept that in and stuff. It's just, everything's a lot cleaner. And like they have this new automated system or whatever to like match the mouths to their voices. So it looks 100% accurate. No, it's a little uncanny valley right now. It's like, that's like too accurate almost, but I think that'll be all right over time. It's a first of its kind to be able to do that, so it's pretty interesting.
Nice.
All right, so I'm generating questions. I got number 1. What's your first impression when you started the game? Just the music immediately hits you, and that big panning shot over Cyrodiil and seeing the Imperial City and stuff like that, and it just to see that in such high fidelity, it takes you right back and it makes you appreciate the fact that they shadow dropped this thing. I was watching one guy on TikTok that like his wife was recording him and he's watching the Todd Howard announcements and stuff. And then he's like, and today we're going to be dropping it today. And he's like, just runs around his house like he's a kid again on Christmas morning. And it's like, I feel you, buddy. I feel you.
Right.
All right. Number 5, how smooth or clunky did the controls feel? They feel a little clunky when you return to an Elder Scrolls game, because it is like even navigation is like you just follow a red line on a big compass. Elder Scrolls is an older franchise, and nowadays we've polished everything up so much that you kind of forget that Elder Scrolls is an older franchise, and they stick to that. And so I would say it's clunky for new players, and for old players, it's going back home. It's not going to feel clunky to old players. My next one, I already did that one, is number 13, which is, was there a mechanic or feature that you found really clever? Yeah, I really think that the way that like the sneak system and all the different, basically like the way you could like level up your professions or your proficiencies is really good, because it's not that you're just putting points into something, which you do at some point. It's by doing them. So if you feel like, oh, I want to be really good at like, or really good at fast and really good at jumping and stuff like that, then you run around a lot and you jump a lot and your athletics will go up. It's just perfect. And so I think that's something that I think some games get away from, where specifically World of Warcraft got rid of that a long time ago, where you'd have to level up your weapons. And it's nice to play a game where it's like, you could do a sword and shield, you could do a bow and arrow, you could do a mage staff. You better pick it up and practice though. And then that's how you get good at it. And so it's just nice to have a basic mechanic like that put into a game. And 16, my last one is, was there a favorite weapon, skill, or tool you liked using? So my favorite obviously is the bow and arrow. It always has been. The one I like the least is a damn lockpicks. Those are the bane of my existence, man. I'm at the point now, and I always get this way in every single Bethesda game, where I'm like, auto, broke them all, don't need what's in that box, bye. And I walk away. That every single time, man.
Yeah.
So,
once you get the money to just buy a stack of lockpicks, that's when you could just say F it. It's auto pick. And
then I even watched a video like, okay, I'm going to master it this time, guys. And I'm watching a guy do it. I'm like, no, fuck that. It's just, I'm not going to be able to master this. So I ended up ditching it. But yeah, guys, Oblivion Remastered. It was a wonderful little joy to be able to, for them to be like, here's the game and it's out right now. That was such a blast. Yeah. 8 out of 10. Easy.
So doing that, what'd you say, ghost drop or shadow drop? Yeah. Do you think that is better for the company? Because from my perspective, it brings a lot more hype. If they were to take their time and say, hey guys, in a couple months we're gonna drop it, maybe they would have built a little bit of suspense behind it or something like that. But and had some pre-sales and maybe sell merch or whatever. But by doing this drop, all of a sudden it's kind of like goes viral. Like, oh crap, it's out today. Everybody, there's something you can do right now to act on it, which is get it and play the game. It's ready for you. So do you think it's better to do that or the traditional way?
With this game having such nostalgia to it, yes, because people already knew what they're getting. It's just cool news. But if it was like an entirely new title, like we're going to get with Expedition 33, if they were to shadow drop a game like this, it would be forgotten. Matter of fact, there are a couple video games that came out the same day as this, and they are furious because they're like, our game is a good game. It's just an indie title, and we didn't expect to be going up against a AAA title. And
I didn't even know of another game that came out.
There's 2 other games that came out. Yeah, 2 games came out outside of Oblivion, and I couldn't even tell you the titles, and I read their article about them. That's what's nuts.
That's funny.
But they had made you know these companies, they work on their marketing to make sure they release at the optimal time, and they did. And then suddenly Bethesda came out and be like, fake out, nostalgia, boom. And then there's the other thing with like Skyblivion, this company that you and me talked about in the past, Jonathan, that was using the Skyrim engine to rebuild Oblivion. Their work is fraught. Like it's, you know, like I know there are people who are like, oh, I'm still looking forward to it. Like, oh, why? Like, frankly, let's be honest, that took a lot of steam out of the room. And I know that Elder Scrolls gave everybody who worked on that mod essentially a free copy of the new game, and just as an appreciation for their efforts. But still, like, that sucks. That was, I think, the last 5 years we've been talking about it. It's still not ready. And
it's crazy.
I know people are like, well, it's going to be a better version of the game. I'm like, I've been seeing screenshots. I don't know if it's better necessarily. It's not here is the main thing.
Yeah. Because especially if you got like the product now and it looks like the way it is, I mean, and you're satisfied and you're happy, why even explore the next one? I mean, it's yeah.
So
all that time.
So do you think they would potentially do a sequel to this game now?
Well, we already know that they're working on Elder Scrolls 6, right? Because when Oblivion, Skyrim, and they know what we're working on the next one. Who knows when they released that little image that we're working on Elder Scrolls 6 way too early, because that was like, again, 5 years ago or something. And so that was a mistake on their part. But it's in the works. It is fully what they're working on right now. We'll see how that goes. They hired another company to make the remaster for this, which is nice, because it was like, don't stop development of Elder Scrolls 6. That's going to be one of the biggest games. We have that. We have GTA 6 coming up. And those are the kind of games that come out the last 10 years. So it'll be interesting to see how they do. We're moving on to Expedition 33. Squeaks, you're in charge of reviewing this one. You got your 2 minutes and go.
All right, so Expedition 33 is a turn-based game like no other, okay? And when I say that, it's because you're consistently involved in what's going on. So usually in a turn-based game, and I'm going to say like Final Fantasy, right? You pick your move, and old school Final Fantasy, I know it's changed over the time, but you pick your move, kind of see what happens, and then when you're like on that defense, you see if you have enough defense or maybe like luck to, you know, dodge or something or parry something. Well, this game really keeps you in tune to all that combat because you're making those actions yourself. So when you're on the attack, you're not just watching your attack, you're also trying to perform like perfect strikes. So you're consistently going to be clicking buttons at a certain time. And then also on the defense, you're also dodging, parrying, or jumping to essentially avoid those attacks. So you're consistently like in tune with what's going on. It is a very challenging game. So when you're attacking, you're pressing these buttons, but the way the visuals look and everything, it's kind of tough, and you always have to focus on what's going on, which I really enjoyed. The other part of the challenging game is like there's no room if you're playing normal and above. There's no room for error. So even on normal, you're getting like mopped up with just trash mobs. Playing now, I'm going back and forth from like normal, easy to see like where I really like, and I do like the challenge in normal, but easy just feels like a normal turn-based game where mobs are, you know, it could be challenging at times. You have to learn the new character or the new monsters or whatever, but then bosses is where it's at, you damage. So anyway, besides that, that's just gameplay. The graphics are like phenomenal. The casting is on top tier, with Charlie Cox being the main character, and you got Andy Serkis playing the villain. Know that. Yeah. So,
wow.
No. And so again, like Charlie Cox main character, Andy Serkis is the
15
villain.
seconds.
And honestly, the world is so like phenomenal. It's insane. I never played anything like this before. The story is intense, where like you're learning on the way. It does very feel like Final Fantasy, like where this world is just so magical and like this modern. And I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
I'm blown away by how much you're excited for this game. Like I remember seeing the concept when it was first announced, like the clock or like the age or whatever and stuff like that. The story seems pretty crazy, but man, I mean, just the feedback I'm getting from this game is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's like no other. I never played anything like this before. I'm so in tune with like the story itself. It kind of throws you into something where you're just like, what is going on? But you kind of learn along the way.
Yeah.
Like what's the deal with like the clock, like you said, essentially the numbers and you kind of learn that along the way where you're just like, I'm so lost. But then you're like in this, it's so dark and scary, and then you join this like tournament to fight like. To be the best warrior there is, and that's really where it comes to like Final Fantasy, like to where like, hey, the world is ending, but you want to race chocobos or whatever, you know, like it breaks away from that and kind of have a little fun. But it's phenomenal.
What studio made this? What It's okay. I'll check it out later. You don't have to stop the.
No, I'll take a look.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and generate yours. You got 18, which is
Sandfall Interactive.
What's it again?
Sandfall Interactive.
Oh boy, that's a new studio. I haven't heard that before. That's cool. I love that. It's good we go from Bethesda to Sandfall. I like that we're going stalwart to something new. Were there any bugs, glitches, or technical issues that really hampered your playthrough?
You know what's crazy is that no, not at all. I have not experienced one issue with this game. Unlike Oblivion,
I'm literally having to change systems because of Oblivion.
Yeah, because like Oblivion, and we talked about it, it crashed on me once. This game I've had no issue with. I have no clunkiness with I mean, maybe when you're running, like you run into a rock and you just got to move around, but it just felt like, okay, this is a little rock, I should step over it. But that's not anything that takes away from the experience at all. It's been extremely smooth. I haven't had issues with like, man, I'm pressing this button, but it's like the timing's not right. It's pretty like you have to be dead on, and it's rewarding when you are, and it doesn't feel like it's just not reading, you know, like it's very, it's reading. Yeah, it's fast paced and it's catching it everything.
How would you describe number 2 is your next one? How would you describe the gameplay mechanics? So I think specifically we know it's turn based, but outside of that, is it exploration, open world? What would you say?
Yeah. So besides the turn based combat, it is that exploration open world. So once you get out of the a fight or not in a fight, you're going to your objective essentially, but you're like how can I say it? You're just exploring like this. Okay, so there's like, how can I say, levels in this massive expedition world, and each level kind of feels like it's a whole new environment and experience. So and you're on this like big map, but you have to like, that's like a top down looking. I'm trying to explain like there's different ways to like, there's different views of this. So then you go into it, and then you're like, okay, third person. You're walking around exploring, finding things, and then you see the monsters roaming around. That's when you can hit them, kind of like start the fight. But yeah, it is exploration when it's outside of that, jumping, climbing, whatnot. Okay. And you can switch between characters. The characters doesn't do anything different to the story or the gameplay. It's just who you like the best and you want to, walk around as.
I thought maybe like different characters have different abilities to help you explore different places.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Like that. Okay.
It's just kind of like who you like, whatever, or who you want to play as that story, or what kind of feels like right.
Or is it the cutest ass you want to follow while you're? Yeah, I get you. I played video games in the past.
But yeah, that's there's not too much of that storytelling and exploration. Yeah.
All right, next one you got number 7, which is, were there any parts that felt frustrating or repetitive? That's a hard part with the game loops that can get repetitive fast.
It's okay. So this game is very much like what I would say, like Final Fantasy, but the Elden Ring of Final Fantasy, because it's very difficult. The repetitiveness is like, okay, you're doing the turn-based fights again, right? You want to gain XP, but what's kind of nice is you're getting a reward with weapons and stuff that you can upgrade for your character that are visually different, and you can put different stats on your character. So it's like a want and a need for these fights. But what's cool about these fights is that, like I said, the timing of your attacks and your defenses. So it doesn't make it feel like it's really repetitive. Like I want to go out and do that because one, I'm also trying to, that's the Elden Ring part of it because it is difficult, learn the fight. So how many times, right, where you could get one fucking swipe from a boss in Elden Ring and you're frustrated, but you learn his mechanics, and that's essentially what this is. So if you don't like practice more of the fighting, then when you have to fight these characters like that are the must have to fights that progress through the story, then you're not going to know what to really do. And you already run that enough times with the bosses because you're like, man, I got to fight this massive ass boss. I don't know his moves. There's no way I'm going to beat it the first time. Right.
Yeah.
So it's frustrating, but rewarding. And the repetitiveness, I don't really feel as bad. Again, we talk about it all the time. Every game is repetitive. And this one essentially keeps me in tune to it. But yeah.
Last one, number 5 is, how smooth do you feel the game plays, or was it clunky?
No, I think it's fucking perfect. With the combat and how fast paced it is, it reads it all.
It's wild that a new studio came out with such a clean game like this.
Yeah, visually when you're in those fights too is what was appealing to me. Like this whole like camera angles, you know, like that is.
It feels like an anime when you're watching it.
Yeah,
you're watching somebody play it.
Gosh. Yeah. That is, it's so cool, and it's and I've never had a part where it kind of like glitches or anything when you're doing these fast motion pan moves, you know?
Right.
So it's so crazy, like you said, like a new studio. that just comes out with literally a perfect product.
Yeah.
But you got Bethesda that's been in the game for so long that can't still do that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All
right, then. So let's get a grade for this real quick. Out of 10, what's your score?
Expedition 9 out of 10. Okay. And
once you play,
you'll know the reason.
I have been hearing a lot of really good things, so I'm not surprised. That's pretty wild to me, but I'm not.
Yeah, this game's great. Here. Yeah.
All right, our last review. Let's get into this last one, and we're going back to. I just realized I misspelled WrestleMania in the notes. Is WrestleMania? It's WrestleManus. Just what was I thinking?
WrestleAnus.
WrestleAnus. We're gonna go back to Squeaks for this. Which do you need 2 minutes to break down WrestleMania or?
No, not really. I guess I'll just talk about it real quick.
Let's go give us a quick.
Also, WrestleMania 41. We're already on our way for WrestleMania 42. Let's put it out there. But there was a few exciting matches in this one. Some of them that I did not predict myself, to be honest. And that's I like to try to the wife talk shit on it when I'm watching it, but I like to be like, no, this is why they're going to do this because of this reason here. I can already see it. I was a little shocked a couple matches. They didn't do what I was predicting. So that part's always nice to seem like, oh shit, the wrench, throw a wrench in it. But overall, though, I don't think this was the greatest WrestleMania, not at all like it was WrestleMania 40. On the WrestleMania 40, it was funny because I was being laughed at, but I was almost on the edge of my seat with the main event there.
Yeah.
Just because you have the OGs coming out like The Rock and stuff like that, and they were really throwing out things that you weren't expecting. If I wanted to get in a couple matches, I'm going to say a bunch of names you probably aren't familiar with them real quick.
By the way, I was all excited to go to Lodi Comic-Con because Rikishi was going to be there. He just canceled.
Yeah. Oh, fucking bitch.
I know. That was going to be my real focus on Mother's Day weekend, but now I'm I guess I'll celebrate moms.
God, what did you ever do for me, Mom? I'm trying to see Rikishi. But yeah, so some of the big matches, the triple threat match with the women's title, Io Sky holds on to that title. Drew McIntyre beat Damian Priest, which was kind of unexpected, but I didn't mind also because Drew McIntyre has been really just not getting enough love. When
Jonathan,
it comes
raise
to
your hand when you hear your favorite wrestler. Okay.
Oh, for sure.
There was one unexpected one. I think it was what do they call it? Fatal 4-way between Damian Priest, Finn Balor, Pinto, which is a new lucho wrestler. Okay. And buff ass dude named Braun, which is fucking just massive looking. I'm every time I see him, I'm fuck, man, I wish, that doesn't no or anything, but God. But Damian Priest beat that one, which is basically Rey Mysterio's son, who everybody hates right now because he's doing the whole deadbeat dad role. But he won, so that was a shock to me. I want you to look this up later, Frank. This is the funniest one. Randy Orton did hey, I'm calling out anyone. Okay, I'm calling out anyone to wrestle with me. There's a guy named Joe Hendry. That wrestles in the smaller one. I think it's called NXT. It's called the NXT. It's the lower budget WWE, kind of for people to come up in a way.
Yeah,
but everybody loves it because he's so hilarious. So what he does is his song is corny as shit. He's hey, when you say his name or whatever, they call him Joe Henry, and that's just him in the background, on a mountain playing a guitar and stuff. But what he does is, at a certain point, he turns around and just smiles at the camera. Everybody just loves it. It's so corny as shit.
Okay, I might like this guy a lot, actually. That sounds cool.
You'll have to check it out.
I will be checking that out. I'll be watching that after this for sure. Because I like wrestling passively. Generally, I'll watch WrestleMania, but I won't watch anything else. And so to have somebody to kind of root for, I have the same thing. I'll let you keep going here in a second after you're done coughing. But Maxwell Harris right now in the NFL draft, who just got picked up by Buffalo Bills. He's such a nice guy, and he's so chill, and he's having so much fun over there. And I'm am I a side Bills fan all of a sudden because of this one kid that just got drafted? But yeah, I feel you. Sometimes it just takes that one player. Go ahead. Yeah, and everybody just loves him because they hear the song and they freak out because you just look it up. It's funny. Some of the big surprises, or just say one for sure was the tag team championship. Yeah.
Or the tag team match because they brought out Becky Lynch. She's been gone for a very long time.
Oh, yeah.
So when people were seeing her, when her song come on, there's literally people in the crowd crying.
Yeah.
It's just oh my goodness. That was a cool surprise. And the biggest one, semi-biggest one, because I didn't know where they were really going to go with this one. John Cena beats Cody Rhodes. John Cena's retiring. This is the last tour. This is the last WrestleMania. Right. He been kind of playing the villain lately.
Yeah, he turned heel, right?
Yeah, and I don't really know where that's going with it. And now I kind of see it. Randy Orton is wanting to retire soon. He said something that he wants to fight John Cena before he retires. This might be a duo retirement. Who knows? John Cena playing the villain when he won this one didn't win very spectacular. So my like knock on WWE is like, where are you going with this? Because for someone that's been in here for decades and kind of been this like massive superstar, that win was dog shit. It was kind of boring. He's been very like boring lately. Not as exciting. And it's like this fucking John Cena, dude. He's in a movie on Prime that's coming out really soon with Idris Elba.
That's kind of the reason. Same thing with The Rock, though. Like, do you think they let these guys turn heel because, like, well, I just don't know enough about wrestling culture.
Yeah.
When they turn heel, is that as accepted to fans as like that's just part of the story, or is it like, oh, they're actually being a bad person?
He's doing a really good job at trying to be that bad person, and I think he's overly doing it for the fact that he's been such good and a badass for so long.
Yeah.
How are you going to convince me that you're going to be bad now, right? This whole like story mission, whatever they're trying to do with John Cena is very confusing because he did take the title from Cody Rhodes, who's had it for just over a year. Yeah. And it's like, okay, so what are you going to do with Cody now? Where he lost because he was being a good guy. Is he going to turn heel a little bit? And
which seems crazy because Cody, right? Yeah. I mean, like you were talking about WrestleMania 40, which is the better one.
Yeah.
That was huge that Cody finally won. And so then it's like, just now already, you guys took that away. Like, so I could see them doing kind of this, like Cody defeating the old guard and taking out The Rock as well, really, probably. And like kind of lifting up to be the next generation of Rock. Or
like get John it back Cena. Because Rock and Cena did team up to defeat Cody. I could see them do like some massive like thing like that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, because then you bring in Randy Orton and Cena. I just want them to do justice with Cena for how much he's put in with the WWE. And right now it's not there. But so I thought this was like his final match ever. He's never going to show up again. But then he's like, oh, now I have 20 dates with you guys, which essentially is just 20 times he's going to be on air, or like weeks, whatever it is. So I'm just like, okay, so he's going to come back for some type of pay-per-view event and then end it there. But do some justice, like whatever it is, you got to turn him to make him go out the right way.
I need to keep up on these storylines because it is pretty interesting how they, just from like the marketing standpoint, like how they decide things are going to go and the writing. Like there's a new documentary, I think it's coming out or is out now?
Yeah.
About the writing process behind WWE. Yeah, so I need to check that out too. It's just very interesting. Let's get it. Can we do a score on this? Is this something you would score?
Yeah, I so for not as exciting, I found myself on the phone a couple of times just because I'm like waiting for the next one to start.
Of course.
And man, the last one was so much better. I'm gonna give it like, being generous here, like a 7 out of 10 championship belts. You know.
Fair enough.
I mean, I do have my WrestleMania hat and I have my shirt coming on the way too. But anyway, but it's my trash TV, you know, that I watch to keep in the background.
I don't blame you.
Know these stories and stuff.
All right, 7 out of 10 for WrestleMania, and John Cena is the new champ. Here we go. Go ahead and get into our news, and we're going to be focusing on Star Wars Celebration. This was a 3-day event over in Japan. Thanks for putting in Japan, so I had to be up at like 1 o'clock in the morning to watch things. I appreciate that. We're going to be going over some of the biggest announcements, and we're going to be discussing each of them. Let's go ahead and start off with the gaming one first, actually. So we've got the Star Wars Outlaws getting a new expansion called A Pirate's Fortune. It's probably the last one. It's going to be $15. You're going to explore an entirely new area. We've got Hondo Onaka coming back, which is like a pirate god. He's so cool. Yeah. It's good to have him back. This is coming out May 15th. I'm going back to you, Squeak. I know, Jonathan, you haven't played Star Wars Outlaw, right?
No.
I think it might be up your alley, though. But for Squeaks, are you grabbing this expansion?
Not at all. No, and the Hondo thing turns me on most definitely, but with the reviews on the Outlaws that come out, and there's so many other games right now to play anyway, and I would like to go back to...
That's the hard part, right.
Fallen Order sequel.
Survivor.
Survivor, I do need to play that again. I didn't play it very far into it, and I really do want to.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Have you beaten it? You beat the second one?
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I do, because that game's phenomenal. So if I'm going back to a Star Wars game, it's not going to be Outlaw. The only time I'll play Outlaw is essentially when he goes on Supercell. That's it. Yeah.
My problem is that there's just so much to play right now, so it's really hard to dedicate something to. I think if you're a real gamer, you've got a full plate right now, and then let alone we have Marvel Rivals and stuff like that. If you're playing something on the side, but if you guys are playing, let us know. We would like to hear what you guys think about Outlaws' new expansion, A Pirate's Fortune. Again, May 15th. And I would like to hear like how's the game holding up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Next up, we have the Disney Lucasfilms docuseries. They got season 2, Light and Magic, going into the behind the scenes of how they made a lot of the ILM stuff. So not just Star Wars, but we also have Jurassic Park and Pirates of the Caribbean and alike. The panel for this was, in my opinion, the best panel they had there. Just seeing the behind the scenes of how they make this stuff is pretty amazing. When you're a kid and you're seeing this, it's the magic, it's the wonder. And then as an adult, when you can really appreciate the effort that went behind it, it's so cool. So, and that's now available on Disney Plus. I always like when they just boom, pop it out right away. Jonathan, you watched the Ahsoka series, right? The first season?
Yes.
So, I don't know if you know this or not, but Baylan Skoll, played by Ray Stevens, had unfortunately passed, and they had recasted him with Rory McCann, who is the Hound from Game of Thrones. How do you think we have our first visuals of that? And he looks badass, right? That's easy to do. He's the Hound. How do you think he's going to do replacing Ray?
Well, I think that's going to be a test of his acting abilities because I only know him as the Hound.
Yeah.
So it will, as the Hound, he's kind of rough and scruff and a tough guy, but this new character is very clean and proper and well spoken. Yeah. I think it's like he's descended from a proper position and now he's kind of in between or
he's like slumming it now, but he's from wealth or something like that. You kind of get that vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. So we'll see if he can act to that level, portraying a different character than we're used to seeing him play. Yeah. If he just plays the Hound, I think it would still be a cool character. It just wouldn't match, what he's replacing. But I think either way, the fans will probably like it. It's an unfortunate situation that we have to recast this role, but I think it'll be a good fit. Ray
did such a good job. It is unfortunate to see him go, and he's a hell of a good actor, and he loves Star Wars. So you hate to see that, but. Our first visuals. Did you have a chance to see the visuals of him as Baylan Skoll? I posted it on TikTok.
Yeah,
he looks dope. I'll watch him do anything.
I like to see him do good in this, and then pick up more roles because he's great in Game of Thrones. I want to see him, like we see Pedro Pascal blows up from a couple good roles, and now he's in everything. It's like, get these good actors. Hired across the board, more stuff.
That's one thing we haven't talked about, and we won't talk about much. But that last episode of The Last of Us. Oh. The internet is a buzz.
Yeah.
So disappointing.
Oh man, my entire feed on every platform has been people recording the significant other who didn't play the video game and just watching them fall apart.
Yeah, it's funny because the wife is like, "Did you know this?" I'm like, "Yeah, woman, you fucking knew I played both the games, and I told you." I was like, "This shit actually happens a lot quicker in the game than it does in the show." So
I'm just surprised that they did it so fast in the show. I thought for sure they were going to milk it as long as they could,
right? Just to keep Pedro,
yeah. But hey, that means we're going to be going to see the wolves and stuff like that a lot sooner. So here we go. Then we have so we found out that General Akbar is going to be the general that's going to be fighting Thrawn in season 2 of the Ahsoka series.
Honestly, that's pretty badass. Actually, I wasn't expecting his passing, but I like him like flourishing in like more of a role and being on that screen. I can kind of see it. Disney's really putting him out there on some of these attractions that they have at Disneyland. So they're kind of making him like a cool character, really. But
doesn't he pilot one of the ships in the new ride? The Rise of Resistance ride?
So I think General, so one thing I said, Admiral Akbar, his son's going to be there too. So you might have seen his son and a few things as well.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe they're replacing him with the son, is what you're saying?
I could see that. Well, because if you think about like the new trilogy, I don't remember him being in any of that. And you would assume the guy that took out the Empire, militarily wise, would be there to take out the First Order, but he's not there. So that's why I'm like, oh, Thrawn's going to get him then.
Huh. No, that'd be cool though. I actually would like to see him pass away in a cool way like that.
Yeah, as long as it's earned, right?
Yeah.
And then Anakin said he's coming back as well. We got Hayden Christensen's returning. Dave Filoni said specifically the story for Anakin is done. This is going to be all about Ahsoka, so they're not going to make it to where they have to expand his story in any ways like that. They don't want to ruin anything about Anakin. I just want more Hayden Christensen. I think he's such a badass, and I'm so happy he's kind of finally getting the respect he deserves.
Yeah, I think like you're saying, it might not be about him, so we'll probably see more flashbacks that kind of flesh out Ahsoka's relationship with him a little deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if they could do a spinoff or something that doesn't, it's hard. The more you handle something, the more likely you are to ruin it. So we don't want them to go too far with his character, but I think there's a lot more there that hasn't been explored that we could get to know. And we don't want to necessarily see a full on redemption arc because he becomes Darth Vader. We know that. So it's hard to really expand on that character when the final product has already been presented and people loved it. But yeah, I think it'd be cool if they did a little bit more though.
I think what's neat is Hayden Christensen to become like that whole between 3 to 4, right? We need to see Darth Vader develop. So if you want to keep him in there, keep him in as that. Stop giving me flashbacks of him like inner dialogue with Ahsoka. I'm over it.
Yeah.
Bitch, get over it.
There's a new book that was announced that's a Darth Vader book all about right after 3 and him like trying to figure out what he is now and his bracing his armor, stuff like that, which I love that his armor keeps him in it's something the Emperor did. His armor keeps him in constant pain to help fuel his hate and rage to make him a better Sith. And it's like, man, that's such an Emperor Palpatine thing to do. Is like, you could have just given him shit that works. But instead you're like, I want this to constantly poke him in the back.
It'd be cool to see him develop a strategic ability too, because, you know, he in his seat of power, he has so much control. He has to be also an effective, you know, general as Darth Vader.
That's true.
But it'd be cool to see him growing in that, because as Anakin, he learns how the Jedi operate and stuff like that. So you learn, you know, good and bad and all this kind of balance. But when he flips to the dark side, he's so controlled by emotion that you'd think like, this guy's a terrible employee. He's not going to be good middle management in any situation.
HR meetings all the time.
Right. But then eventually he's, you know, Darth Vader. So like Squeaks is saying, between 3 and 4, there's a lot of growth in his character that we don't actually see. So that'd be kind of cool. Not only to see him get this influence where it's not just choking people out to control him, but he makes these big moves within the Empire that keep them in their, you know, grasp of power. But to see he gets so good with that, so powerful in that, and his abilities with the Force, that he starts to scare the Emperor a little bit. And the Emperor has to like, you're going to keep doing what you're doing, but I need you to be, you know, 10 feet further back from me because you're getting too strong, you know? And then of course we see the later movies, how it plays out, but it'd be kind of cool to see a conflict between them kind of budding a little bit too.
So in Clone Wars, I mean, he's a hell of a good general against the Separatists. When Ahsoka's his Padawan and is young. And then when later on, when he's Darth Vader, he and Thrawn have to work together, forced to work together twice for sure. And there is this very much like the two best people in the room are not Palpatine, and that's how the Sith work. He approached to Luke in Empire Strikes Back, saying like, we could take over. We don't need the Emperor. And it's just what I love about the Sith, where it's like even the most loyal Padawan or your second in command wants your ass. So yeah, the idea of fleshing him out, but not like changing his character at all, but just kind of giving us more of it would be really good. And there's a new book coming out. I know Squeaks, you're an avid reader. I know you're gonna be reading that book.
Yeah, we're talking novel book, right?
Yeah.
I've been really on our novel kick instead of a comic kick, which is killing my comic.
Yeah.
My backlog.
Dude, I'm reading comics. I need to get back into the books. I keep.
Yeah, you do. You do. Because what we're going to talk about next is ridiculous.
I'm looking over here. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. Okay. Then let's go really quickly. Star Wars Vision. They have a new season coming up, and then a spinoff based off of The Ninth Jedi, which is one of the episodes. Star Wars Vision is beautiful. It's going to be going back towards the Japanese animation, which I think is something that they slipped on in the season 2. If you're an anime fan, and if you're a Star Wars fan, there's absolutely no reason to be watching this.
Yeah, I saw like one little clip where, and correct me where I'm wrong, where someone put their hand out and it was like a bunch of lightsabers, and then like a Sith like fighting all those lightsabers at one time. You remember seeing that? Yeah, that was. Yeah. I'm like, fuck, this is the shit I need in a Star Wars.
Gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I like how they are using a different anime studio per episode. So you could really like, I really like Wit or whatever. Oh, find the Wit episode and stuff like that. So that's really cool to see specifically like, I like Attack on Titan. I just got to find that episode that's related to it. So
yeah,
we're going to go through it quick here. And then we have the Darth Maul series. So if you like Clone Wars, if you like Bad Batch, those animated series, it's the next one of those essentially. Going to be following Darth Maul and the rise of the Crimson Dawn, his crime syndicate, following the events of the Clone Wars. Jonathan, as somebody who has not watched all the Clone Wars, would you give this a shot?
I do plan on watching all the Clone Wars at some point too. Yeah. So I don't know if I'd want to wait to watch this until I watch that, but especially once my son's the right age that he finds it interesting, that it'd be a fun thing for us to watch together. But yeah, I think either if I don't watch it now, I will plan on watching it at some point. I want to watch all the Star Wars series.
What age now, Squeaks, for your kids, what age do you feel is right to start watching Clone Wars and Rebels?
I mean, I feel like they could watch it as long as they're into it, you know? Yeah, because they're 5 and 3, and they lock on to Studio Ghibli movies. But it just has to be like, it has to be like what, what, I don't know. I guess, their minds, right? They lock on to something too, and they understand what's going on. So if they don't really like it, then I don't know. I try to get them on, I try putting on the, what's the kid Jedi show with the little blue furry one?
Oh yeah. I don't know what it's called, but they brought out a big furry dude at Celebration. Yeah.
And then they didn't really show too much interest, but I'll try again. Yeah.
Well,
so I don't know if that's the right age.
Jonathan's got Marco watching that Spider-Man show, and it's like, oh, entry level into Spider-Man. I want to start dumping comics on the poor kid, and he can't even read through the comics yet.
He reads pretty good, surprisingly. He reads better than he speaks, but I don't think he would pay attention to flipping pages of a book, though.
That's wild. He's really good at turning his tablet and stuff like that, but he's not into book pages. I think with the bright colors, especially for I think Rebels is even brighter than Clone Wars in a lot of ways. I think Marco can start getting into it, Jonathan. It might be worth trying it out and seeing if he gets it. And then, of course, you're watching it too, and really soaking it up. And Rebels is so relevant to Ahsoka, and the Ghost Crew is basically all back in Ahsoka. And I think that's something that you would really like. To me, Rebels has the most emotional death in all of Star Wars. What do you think about that with Kanan?
I don't know. I think I'd have to revisit that because Clones, I was just having that stuff like myself. Every time they have like a banger episode, I'm like, oh my gosh, why is this not on the big screen, right? I'll have to, you know what? I'm gonna have to challenge me to accept that,
There we go.
Let's check that out.
Kanan in Rebels, man. When that happened, I was like, this is ultimate cinema. Holy shit. It's wild. So Darth Maul, we got Sam Witwer, who's the voice of Darth Maul now for years, is coming back for this. It's going to be dope. It's going to be really cool. Yeah. The art style too is it's a lot like Bad Batch, but with a little more Japanese influence, is what they're saying from people who were there. Looks really good. And then let's go to our last one here. We got Starfighter announced. It's going to be done by Sean Levy, who did, the Deadpool movies and stuff like that, and bringing in Ryan Gosling. So it's going to be a good looking guy in space, basically Top Gun in space. That's going to be solid. Yeah. I think it's going to be a hit.
Fun Solo.
And it's probably going to be the beginning of a whole new trilogy. And Sean Levy's dope as hell as a director, so I'm all on board with this. I think it's gonna be good.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite games of Star Wars games is those Squadrons, right? Is that the one with the
Rogue Squadrons?
Rogue Squadrons, and I love that. So I was like, yeah, just give me that. I mean, in a cinema, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Patty was working on, but she's stepping down, so I think that's basically what's happening. Is like, all right, Sean, make these for us.
After Wonder Woman 2, you should fucking step down and everything. Fucking ass.
The searing hatred. That's the Empire in him, guys. That's the Sith in him. He's always celebrating
because you brought me something that was phenomenal golden where you deserve the world, which is Wonder Woman 1, and then you come out with 2. Yeah, fucking dog shit. But that can't be your last news. Side. Yeah, that can't be your last news. Honestly, yeah, you know what? If that was the point where hey, we need you to fucking kill someone to turn into the dark side, bring her on over, Palpatine. Fucking whack. I have no problem. But that can be your last news, right? Right?
For Star Wars Celebration.
It's not. We got Fortnite Star Wars. Let's talk about it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fortnite Star Wars, Darth Jar Jar. I'll probably grab that skin.
Okay, that trailer.
Why don't you talk about it?
Okay. I don't know what really much there is to talk about, but that trailer for Star Wars Fortnite, I was like, what the fuck? Is this a whole new game? What is this? This is badass as hell for Fortnite. Is this a whole... it's
an event that's going over several weeks, and they're releasing more stuff every week.
Yeah. Do we have a date of when that releases? I mean, I don't know.
It's in play now, I believe. Yeah, I think it started.
God damn it. Luckily, the wife's being out of town tonight. So that's literally what I'll be doing tonight. Which we got to get on Minecraft
is a dad
tonight.
With a job, and somehow he has to get in all this gaming. I don't know how he does it.
Oh my God. I haven't even updated 80 games.
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, sure. Oh, yeah. That's what you mentioned.
Zero sugar. But I'm actually interested in that one. And that Dark Jar Jar thing, I was like, man, what a nod to just fan conspiracies and stuff like that, right? Just give it to us. And why not? Just give it to a Fortnite. You're not going to put that on a actual title video game Star Wars game.
Actually, they made a Lego series, Star Wars series, and it was part of that. I know it was multiverse stuff, but I was still like, yes, yeah.
But I'm actually excited for that one.
All right, so Squeaks is going to play the event and come back to us with a review on Fortnite in Star Wars.
Yeah.
All right, you just signed up for it, buddy. Your hypeness got you the job. All right, some other quickies real quick. Daredevil is going to be returning March 2026, so it's full year after the last one. And dear God, be fast about it, guys, because man, that was so freaking good. I can't believe Kingpin just smashed that dude's head. It was insane.
You can't give us that last episode of Daredevil and they're just like, you can wait a year. No, no, I can't. Okay, because I waited forever just to be on this level.
Was it too much of a cliffhanger for you guys? Like, no, you're good with it. I thought for you, Jonathan, it would have been because it was like House of the Dragon season 2 to me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So much build up for no resolution. Nah. I don't think it was that big of a change for his character. He was that guy before.
True. And
he tried to walk the line, be on the straight and narrow, do things the right way. Got the power that he needed from it, and then now he's just slipping back into his old habits. So
yeah. I don't know if it was like a cliffhanger. It felt like it was a right chapter ending, and then you're just waiting for the next one.
Okay. Yeah. That's good.
Like now he's accepted that. Like, okay, I'll play the dirty cop. I'll be the mayor and the corrupt kingpin together because that's just how I have to be myself, kind of thing.
So he says he's got to build an army to take on Kingpin and his Red Hook. Who do you want to see in that army? I'll throw out my number one is Moon Knight. I want Moon Knight to be up in there.
Hot. Yeah, man. Who I want and then who I think is totally different. Who I want, obviously, is like, give me that Spider-Man just to pop in there, right? Yeah. But we know that's probably not going to happen. But who I think is like, we're going to probably bring back some of the old Netflix series of like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones.
Did like Jessica Jones.
I wouldn't mind seeing Luke Cage.
It's a great opportunity to pull in a bunch of the lesser known comic book characters that just had small runs or whatever, bring them in for just a couple episodes, see how they do. Yeah. If people like them, then okay, cool. Maybe we do a spinoff of that character, but so you kind of get to test the waters with different characters.
Yeah. Just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. Basically, this is a good opportunity for that. I like that idea.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Elijah Wood are going to be joining Ready or Not sequel. I misspelled another thing. Ready or Not sequel. Ready or Not surprised me how good that was. It has a crazy ass ending, but man, that ended up being, it was my my Halloween watch this last Halloween, and then I ended up watching it immediately again. I ran it back to try to find the clues from like the ending of it, and now I'm like so happy that it's becoming this small franchise where they don't take themselves seriously, and they're pulling some good Michelle Gellar and freaking Elijah Wood. They're pulling some good talent for this thing. Squeaks, this feels like a movie you would have watched. I know, but Jonathan's wife wouldn't let him.
She'd be afraid of the trailers.
I have not though, but you've seen it. So tell me, is this going to be like a direct sequel of like a family like going on, or is this like another family playing the game?
Oh, that I don't know. I don't know that. It is a direct sequel in that it's like literally Ready or Not. Okay, 2.
I mean like that family. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah. Watch the movie. I don't know if that family's much involved in anything anymore.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
The sequel is in somebody mops up the bloody room and they start again with the new cast.
Sequel, we follow the janitor on a very tough day.
Right.
It's a fun flick, man.
Stupid.
So like, it's one of those things where it's like, you just want to see like a bunch of people, like Final Destination, where you're like, don't take it seriously. It's just going to be cool people die in different ways.
Those are good movies too. I'd be happy to see more of that.
They are, by the way, they are making a new Final Destination. Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
It's actually coming out relatively soon. But this is, it's a fun flick. And the idea, just for anybody who's not familiar at all, is someone's going to get married into the family. It's a board game empire family. Weird thing. And so they always play a game the night that the person is going to get married. And there's like a 1 in 20 chance that it's hide and seek. And if it's hide and seek, it's you hide, we try to kill you. And if you last till day, you're okay. She ends up pulling that bad card and has to hide in the mansion while they're all trying to hunt her down with different weapons. And chaos ensues. It's a lot of fun to watch.
I'll watch it.
It's like The Purge, but before it became citywide, right? It was just a family
The Purge
household
family
game
edition, which we all want these family games. That's what it is.
Brings y'all close
it's like when you're playing Monopoly and you're like really losing and you're like, man, I'm just gonna fucking kill you instead, and then I win. So,
when Miguel cheats, our other brother, always the banker for a reason.
Yeah.
Last bit of quick news here is the Hunger Games: Sunrise of the Reaping. We have a release date and some casting, so it's gonna be coming out November 20th, 2026. Gives me some time to finally finish that damn book.
Yeah,
and
we'll see.
yeah, I know, right? And Oblivion came out, I guess. And then we have McKenna Grace is going to be playing Maisie Donner. Then we have Joseph Zada, who's going to be our young Haymitch. And Whitney Peak is going to be playing Lenore Dove. Squeaks, I'm going to you, man. You finished the book.
Yeah,
what do you think about this casting?
So, believe it or not, I first heard about this thing on the Geek Freaks podcast using their TikTok. you shocked me because I didn't know that they were already coming out with this quickly.
Yeah.
So I'm super stoked for it. I love the book. I haven't read a book so fast. Back in like the Harry Potter days, last time I read something that was so like dedicated to.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming we'll get more casting soon. There's a lot of familiar characters, and obviously I'm assuming because this is so much in the past that we're not going to see like returning characters play. We'll get new actors. I don't have a problem with any of the casting so far. I think this is perfect. I think as long as they get the T's crossed with when it comes to these characters, like Lenore Dove, does she have that auburn hair that's like described in the book? If they're getting those small, minute details and then involved and are in it, portrayed, whatever, then I think it's gonna be like home run.
I'm looking forward to another Hunger Games movie. I mean, they're just fun flicks. Do you think that we can get another one? Like, I know that we kind of told the three main stories of the three main characters. Do you think there's another Hunger Games book that we could be getting?
Yeah, I think my wish would be BT. If you remember him, he's the like the tech guy that was in the Hunger Games movie. The Westworld guy, right? Westworld guy.
Right. Yeah, he'll be in The Last of Us here real soon too. Yeah.
Oh, is he? Oh, I didn't know that.
He's the head. He's the one that runs wolves.
Oh shit! Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So have you met him in your book yet? Have you got to that point?
Not yet.
Okay.
No.
There's a lot to uncover there. I think if anything, we could tell a story, even a novel of him, just him, of how he got there, why he's there in this novel, why he shows up in the games later. I think if there was anything in the future that I would want to see, it would be all about BT.
Yeah, maybe we could get something about the very first Hunger Games, like coming up with the idea to do it. That'd be an interesting tell. And I wonder if there's a story out there where, like, post Pan Am, do they decide, like, you know what, the Hunger Games just worked, and maybe bring it back or something like that? That would negate all of Katniss's efforts, but I think that would be fun.
I don't see that happening, but that would be crazy. I don't even see like a first one happening. The only reason why is like, would you really even call it the Hunger Games then? Maybe like the watching of the first one. But the development and stuff like that isn't really Hunger Games anymore, There's gonna
be like this pitch room where some guy's like, what if we call it the Hunger Games? Jerry, I like that idea. Let's go with that. It's gonna be that whole story.
Yeah.
But
somebody who comes in first with a bad pitch. So he's like, I'm thinking about this thing called Thirsty. I'm like, no, it's not gonna work, buddy.
Thirsty Sports, guys. Come on, everybody go aboard Thirsty Sports. Man. Jonathan, is this something Susan would watch, Hunger Games?
Maybe. I think she watched the first couple. Yeah. I think it's something she'd sit through. I don't think it would scare her so much. A little bit of gore is not a big deal. It's the suspense that someone, which I'm sure it has its fair amount of suspense too. But I don't know. We'll see. I gotta try to broaden her horizon. With
I think she'd like the book.
Movies anyway.
Maybe we should get her to the books and see if she likes it, because I enjoyed the books are great reads.
Yeah, I doubt it though. Audiobook. She has a longer commute now, so she's listened to a lot of podcasts and. She could definitely do the audiobooks better.
There we go.
She's cracking those law books, and that's too much to.
Oh my god.
Too much to read. Yeah. I don't want to read fun stuff, let alone the hard stuff.
Yeah, we'll get her the audiobooks. Law books. Oof, that sounds so boring. All right, we're back. Let's get through some network news. We have Fandom Portals going through their Marvel month. They just did Guardians of the Galaxy, so check that out with Brash and Aaron. Then we have on Anime Plus, they just reviewed Solo Leveling Season 2, which looks gorgeous. Some of the clips I've been seeing from that's insane. Over on Challenge Accepted, we've got the Andor and Last of Us coming out every single week. Come hang out with us. Outlast Podcast only has 3 more episodes of the season, so if you're not caught up, this is the time to do it. I've seen Jonathan shake his head, I know.
That last one was good, too.
Yeah. Distance Nerding, I just guessed it on the show. So if you want to see this beautiful face again, Distance Nerding. It's a long episode, but it's a lot of me, so you guys are welcome. And then overall,
so it'll go by fast. It'll go by fast because it's great.
Yeah, this is watching me the whole time. Big news on Mother's Day, May 11th. We had the return of one of our favorite shows. I mean, honestly, guys, I hear your guys' request for the show to come back, and it's coming back. Disney Moms Gone Wrong is returning May 11th. And hey, we have the husbands of the Disney moms right here. This is going to be big. I'm excited to have it coming back, guys. Yeah.
As the boss, can you just cancel that show so my wife doesn't fucking use my room anymore?
Hey, you just got to get her own mic and set it up with her laptop.
Yeah, there we go. It's good to have them back, though. And they seem to be already having a lot of fun, so that'll be really cool, guys. All right, Disney Moms Gone Wrong coming back May 11th. We'll be posting a bunch about it on social media. Let's get into our recommendation of the week. Jonathan, let's start with you. What do you got this week?
Oh, so I started looking up like, hey, what else is out? I've been watching I don't know. I've been watching a lot of stuff. Mostly, I've been trying to binge The Handmaid's Tale. I didn't realize how many seasons it had. Season 6 just came out. So I think in the middle of season 3. Crazy good show. You got to watch it. But also, I didn't realize Black Mirror season 7 already came out.
Yeah, I know. I got to catch that
2 weeks ago. I haven't seen that. I was like, oh my God, Black Mirror is one of my favorite shows, especially on, I think it was on Netflix. It's best on there. So definitely go check that out. And then there was one other show that I had on the list that I was like, oh crap, we got to see. It's coming out soon-ish. That's right. Is Squid Game season 3. We just got season 2. It feels like not that long ago. And season 3 is coming out June 27th. So if you haven't watched any Squid Games, now's your time. Go ahead and start watching it now so you can be ready when season 3 comes out.
There you go. Maybe we'll do we'll have to do something for the podcast for that. Maybe we'll have to, I don't know, host a Squid Game. I don't know, throw it out there, guys. We'll figure it out. Squeaks, what's your recommendation?
Something tiny like that. So I kind of went back in time a little bit. So trying to get rid of this comic backlog. So I got Venom and Carnage. This is a 2004 copy, and the reason why I'm recommending this one is that the art of it is way different. It's like I don't know how to explain it, Frank. It's like 3D. It's not normal drawn art. It's very interestingly done. Black Cat's in it, and they had to overly body work these characters. Not in a bad way.
Black Cat, I know what you mean. Yeah.
But the art's really interesting, and it's just Carnage is trying to kill a host because he's trying to expand the Carnage specimen or whatever whatever. Yeah. Venom's trying to kind of stop multiple Carnages coming alive is kind of what I'm getting from it so far. I'm just somewhere in the middle of it. But it's interesting. It's visually interesting, and that's why I was like, "Oh man, this one is one that's not going to be forgotten for me." So yeah, it's is it a versus? Let me double check that. Venom versus Carnage, and that's it. It's a 2004
run. Yeah. Did you pick up a trade for it, or is it something off of Marvel.com?
Comixology.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
those good stuff. It's cheap. My recommendation for the week is we just had the interview for Kyle Higgins come out last week. He is the mind behind the Massiverse. He has a new Batman run starting up, which thanks Kyle for not telling me that before our interview. We record our interview the next week. Oh yeah, he's doing the new Batmans too. I'm like, son of a bitch. Why didn't we talk about that? But Radiant Black is his comic book, and it's so good. Obviously it's one of the staples now over at Image Comics. So the new Radiant Black number 33, which is the second issue in the Rebuild saga, is coming out this Wednesday. If you guys want to jump in on Radiant Black, this is the time to do it. And I'm also getting into Rogue Sun, which is one of the other things. It's done by his partner in crime. And the art for that, I'm telling you, Squeaks, it's right up your alley. It's basically what if a full suit of armor / Ghost Rider. It's so dope.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's Ready and Black or Ready in Black?
Radiant Black.
Oh, Radiance Black. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Radiant Black.
Yeah. If you guys are familiar with, but I know it's it's an indie darling, and it's now one of Image's biggest comics. But the idea is that these two friends, one of them's coming back home. He's a failed writer from LA, comes back home, and he's drinking with his old school buddy. And they go outside, and by the train tracks, they just see a small black hole. And one of them touches it and becomes a superhero called Radiant Black. It feels kind of like the writing is kind of like Invincible in a lot of ways. And then they did this event called the Catalyst War. And I don't want to explain too much of it, but it is one of the coolest things I've seen at the event in comic books done. And it was a fan vote on the results and stuff like that. So I'll go over it off mic with you guys. But we're now past the Catalyst War, and it's like the new era after the Catalyst War. So good. And there's other things like we had Dead Lucky on, Melissa Flores, who wrote Dead Lucky, which is also part of this universe. Massiverse is really fun, and it's got a lot of really avid fans, and it's just beautiful art. So check that out. All right, that's it for us from Geek Freaks, guys. Check out everything on the network, and make sure you guys drop us a review. It helps us out a ton, and it's free to do. Over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the like. We appreciate it, and you guys have yourself a great week. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.